hell of a time getting this camera going. I've done it I don't know how many times, but this time it just wouldn't work. But the show must go on, and I don't even have my jacket on yet. Give me just a second to put my jacket on. I was about pissed off trying to get this thing going. Oh well, but here I am, and here you are. So if you have a comment tonight, a question, ask me a question. I'm going to comment on this book that I've been reading, Your Forces and How to Use Them. Deals with the power of your mind, how thinking creates your reality, things like that. I know maybe some of you don't believe that, but if you stop and think about it, everything that you see, including this, whatever you're watching me on, whatever device you're watching me on, was created within the mind of man before it became an outer reality, an objective reality, if you liked. It was created subjectively within someone. And your life as you know it today is created and was created within your mind before everything you see and you experience, the people, places, and things, were a reality, were an objective reality. And you might think, well, I didn't create this house, I didn't build this, I didn't think of it. But somebody did. And you were drawn to that because of who and what you are. You don't so much attract into your life what you want as you attract into your life what you are. That's something to think about. Because I know a lot of you guys want to find this beautiful, understanding, loving woman. Well, go look in the mirror. Are you beautiful, understanding, and loving? Or you may say, well, Mark, I can't do anything about the way I look. Well, I don't know about that. Think about this, too. Let's say your appearance is, hey, what's up? Who is it? Men's Daily Advice. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. So go look in the mirror, and are you beautiful? Now, let's say you've got some characteristics, some of your looks that you know really aren't a 10. And maybe you can't do anything about it. But that doesn't stop you if you got that beauty and that handsomeness, if you like, on the inside. I know some of these guys think, well, if you're not 6 foot tall, you don't have six-pack abs and 6 inches. I heard that today on a podcast. Women aren't going to like you. That's bull crap. I've seen women with guys that were definitely lacking in the looks department. Beautiful women. It happens because these guys, more than likely, when they looked in the mirror, they liked what they saw. Even if you or I don't think they're handsome, or if they don't even fit the stats of being handsome. But if you believe you're ugly, if you believe you're lacking, if you believe you're 5'6" or 5'4" or whatever it is, and that's too short, guess what you're going to project? But if you believe you're a 10, you act like a 10, you walk like a 10, then that's the way people will perceive you, if you really believe it. I'm not talking about some superficial arrogance that is not real, it's not rooted within you deeply. I'm talking about what you really believe. Now, how do you come to believe that if you don't believe that today? Well, you can do that by working on yourself. You gain confidence by investing in yourself. Many of you guys, and I've done this too, are more willing to invest in a woman before you're willing to invest in yourself. And that never seems to turn out good. So as I said when I began, I've been reading this book. I read a lot of books. And that's something I would recommend you guys do. Read about people that you want to be like. Hey, what's up, Jawad? Glad you could join me. I can't see it's on my camera though, so it's hard for me to see. Glad you're here. If you guys got any questions, I'll try to read them before they fade out there. But what you really believe about yourself is what you're going to project out to the world. The inner game, I guess, is kind of what I'm talking about instead of the outer game. When you believe in yourself, you will act accordingly. You will project that to other people. That's what they will see. Have you ever heard the saying, what you are speaks so loudly I can't hear what you're saying? Think about that. I know a lot of guys teach go out there and make approaches, approach. But until you do that enough that it changes what you are on the inside, that's more than likely not going to work. It may get your foot in the door. It may get you laid, and if that's all you want, that's fine. I've been 20 before, in my 20s, and that's kind of all I wanted then too, or at least that's what I felt like I wanted. But it's all about inner game. And it's not just in picking up women. It's about in life. If you're going to be successful, you have to first be successful on the inside. You have to be successful in your consciousness. Otherwise, any success you achieve, or let's say if you won the lottery, it will be short-lived. Someone said once, I heard, if you inherit $1 million or if you win $1 million, you better become a millionaire. So if you pick up that beautiful girl, hey, what's up? Daniel, glad you could join me. So if you pick up that beautiful girl and you feel like she's out of your league, guess what? She's probably not going to be with you too long. And why is that? Because you do not feel like you deserve her. You do not feel like you're good enough. So what's going to happen? You're going to self-sabotage that. So anything you achieve on the outside, or that you desire on the outside, you have to raise your consciousness to that level, to where if you do get it, then you can maintain it, you can accept it, you believe that you deserve it. Many of us go around feeling that we don't deserve things. We feel like we're not worthy. We feel like we're not good enough. We have low self-worth, low self-esteem. I've suffered from that myself. So how do you raise your self-esteem? Well, do esteemable acts. Do esteemable acts for yourself and for others. But when you do things for others, don't do it expecting anything in return from that person, because you're setting yourself up for disappointment. When you go to work, always do your best. Get there early, stay late. But don't expect praise or a raise from the boss. You may get that, but you're more than likely going to get it from the universal boss. You cannot put out into the world anything or take anything from the world without it being given back to you multiplied or being taken from you multiplied. So if you're shortchanging your boss and you're not putting in the hours that you're getting paid for, that's going to come back to you somehow. But on the other hand, if you're putting in the hours and you're putting in more time and you're always doing your best, that will come back to you sometime down the road too. It's a universal law you can't escape. So without further ado, let's read a couple of highlighted paragraphs I got here. Let me see. This was something I found important. Whenever you find yourself in what may be termed a difficult position, proceed at once to work your mind up into higher and higher attitudes until you touch the superconscious. And when you touch that lofty state, you will soon receive the ideas on the methods that you need. A difficult situation. What do we usually do when we get into a difficult situation? Do we raise our consciousness up to a higher altitude? I don't know about you, but I usually get pissed off and I start complaining. I mean, that's my first reaction. I'm just being honest with you here. Somebody cuts you off, somebody treats you badly. My first initial reaction is of a lower consciousness, not a higher. I want to knock the crap out of somebody, or I want to cuss somebody out, or I want to tell them what I think. That's my first reaction. And that's a normal reaction. Don't beat yourself up for that. But what you've got to do is raise your consciousness up above the situation. That's how these guys like Donald Trump and some of these Elon Musk, and I mean, think about those guys. There's always somebody after them. There's always someone trying to discredit them. Andrew Tate. These guys rise above the situation in consciousness. That's how they manage to get through these situations when most of us would crumble under such an attack. Someone's trying to destroy us. I mean, you probably got some haters. We all got. I got haters on my YouTube, but in life you've had haters. Now I'm sure if you're like me, most of us, our first reaction is to fight back, and sometimes that's, how would I say? Sometimes that is the right thing to do. It depends on the situation. But if you can rise above that, then you're not, it's kind of like the pendulum. The pendulum swings back and forth. There'll be times when your life's going great, the pendulum's on this side, and then when it swings back the other way, and then times you go through spells where things are difficult. The way these people that are extremely successful, they are subject to the universal laws the same as you and I are. but they rise above it in consciousness. They don't allow it to pull them down. They keep their focus on their goals and their mission, and they're not affected as much by it. I've been going through the last 3 months of a difficult time because for some reason the work just stopped, but it's picked up now. And then my son wrecked my car last week, and I could list you a whole bunch of unexpected, extremely financially expensive things happen. And so it's been challenging. But what I've been able to do, and now, like when my son wrecked my car, of course, the first thing I was upset, but I was able to get past that very quickly, maybe within 30 minutes. And I didn't go off on him. Okay, so now I'm out of a car, right? And then I found out that he was going to leave it there, and they said he could, but then they towed it back down to the wherever, because then they told him he couldn't leave it there, so that was another $370. I'm like, oh, Jesus. So it's going to cost me over $500 to get home, where I could have towed it from where I was at for $150. So that hit me, pissed me off. But it's okay, your initial reaction. If someone slaps your face, you're going to be angry, okay? But it's what you do after that. It's not the snake that bites you that kills you. It's when that venom runs through your veins. And it's not the initial thing, the guy cutting you off, somebody calling you a name, someone disrespecting you. It's not that hurts you and you immediately get angry or you feel offended. It's what you do with it after that. If you don't rise above that, and what I mean by rising above that is just look at it from a detached perspective. First off, whoever it is, whatever he said to you, probably has nothing to do with you. He's probably having a bad day. Maybe he caught his wife cheating last night. Hey Wade, what's up? Chad Penny, yeah, good to have you. When people do things to you, it's not personal. I know it feels personal, but it's not personal. Now stop and think about you. When your life is going great, it's hard for anybody you don't really bother anybody. Somebody cuts you off or somebody says something to you, you're kind of like, I don't mind. You're not short with the people you love. Things are going good. But when you're stressed and something, let's say you got a tax bill or you're going to be audited or something like that, then you're under stress, then your patience and tolerance is not as how would I say, not as strong as it usually is. It's the same way with these people that do things to you. Half the time, these people that cut you off have no idea they even cut you off. People say something to you or they smart off to you. It has nothing to do with you. It has more to do with maybe their husband or their wife, like I said, is cheating on them, or maybe their mom's got cancer, maybe their dad passed away yesterday. You never know. But yet we take it all so personal. And I heard someone say once too, don't take compliments personally either. We have to accept these things and enjoy them, of course, when it's a compliment. But don't take it personally when somebody cuts you down or somebody hacks you. No one will ever say anything to you they don't feel like that about themselves. If someone says you're stupid, they're seeing stupid in themselves reflected back to you or back to them from you. It has nothing to do with you. We have an old saying, spot it, you got it. So remember that next time someone offends you or crosses one of your boundaries. Now, of course, you should have boundaries, but when someone crosses it, don't necessarily take it so personally, like they're just out there to piss you off. Few people get up in the morning and say, you know what? I'm going to go find Mark and just do something just to piss him off today. Now, I'm sure there are people like that, but few people do that. So let's move on here to the next page. I have a lot of highlighted things here. Let's see what this says. If you want to understand and apply all the forces you possess, your mental forces, the power you have mentally, you must train the mind to act. I need to get my glasses on. Where are they at? There they are. Let me see. It's a little bit hazy here. They're a little dirty. Let me see. Okay, you must train the mind. You must train the mind to act through the superconscious as well as the conscious and subconscious. We have like a triune mind. in religion, they call it the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Science calls it the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious. The superconscious is what some people call, I think Einstein called it universal mind, universal intelligence. Somehow we're connected to that. A lot of the great scientists talked about how they would get answers to the most difficult problems when they were trying to solve something, like they would come out of nowhere, maybe in a dream or when they were sleeping, of something they had been working on for months. Who was it? Nikola Tesla talked about that. Einstein talked about it. Thomas Edison would I think he held a ball in his hand. Is there a link to this book? No, I didn't put a link in there. It's called Your Forces and How to Use Them. I can put it in there though. But I was talking about Edison had a ball in his hand, and what he would do is he would have something on his mind. He wanted the answer to something. He would hold the ball, and then as soon as he started to fall asleep, the ball would drop, and it would wake him up, and that would connect him somehow with his, because when you're there's two states. You have the delta, the alpha, and the delta. Alpha is when you're just about to fall asleep. That is the most receptive state we have. I get there a lot in meditation, and that's when you can program your subconscious mind. Because in reality, most of the choices and actions and everything you take during the day, 95% of those, studies say, are taken subconsciously, although you think you do them consciously. So you can program that subconscious through auto-suggestion, affirmations. They're best done in the alpha state. That's right before, it's kind of like when you're half asleep and half awake. So that's what he would do. He would connect with the superconscious by falling, well, semen retention is a different deal. That's a whole different subject there, which maybe I'll do a video about it sometime, because I have practiced that. I know a lot of the red pill guys make fun of that and they laugh about it, but I first did that, and I don't know what we called it back then, when I was boxing for 30 days or more before I fight. I would not masturbate, no orgasm, no sex, nothing like that. Okay, and that would, if nothing else, it makes you more aggressive. So that's why I did it back then. But later in life, and I went for a couple of years before, and what that does for me, I'm not sure if it has any magical powers about it, but your focus gets off of women, off of sex, and you turn that, Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill talked about as transmuting that sexual desire, those sexual urges, into something constructive in a different way, and that's what I use it for. I know there's a whole ideology, or whatever you call it out there, about semen retention. I believe that if you take your focus off of women and put it on something like your purpose, your vision, it can be very powerful. We should never be so focused on a woman that we're not more focused on our vision or our purpose. Have I done that? You damn right I have. It never turns out well. It happens, man, because sometimes women can make you feel so good. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. But nothing makes a man feel better than fulfilling his purpose, pursuing a goal, meeting challenges and adversities and overcoming them. It gives you a fulfillment you don't get from sex or women. I mean, I love having sex with women. It's been a while too, but I'm doing better without that right now because I'm focusing on some other things I really need to focus on. My mission, my purpose. Okay, so talks about conscious and subconscious. All right, so however, we must not permit ourselves to live exclusively in this lofty state. If we spend all our time dreaming, we're never going to accomplish anything. But the dreamers are the creators of this world. But the dreamers who take action on their dreams. I'm not one of these guys going to tell you can have whatever you want, you don't have to take action. Now, I don't believe in taking the massive action that some people do, but that may work for them. Lucid dreaming. This is different from lucid dreaming. When I'm talking about dreaming here, I'm talking more about visualization, that type of dreaming, about seeing your life as you want it to be. Some people say with your third eye. Imagination. Some people believe imagination is God because imagination is a creative power. I believe it's a creative power. And you can create whatever you desire in your life. I've created many things in my life. Everything I ever wanted, I got. And when I didn't get something that I thought I wanted, in retrospect, I realized that wasn't what I wanted, that I actually got what I really wanted. But you have to set out in a direction to be led by this power. But as I was saying, you don't want to live in this lofty state. I mean, like just walking around dreaming all the time because you want to accomplish anything. People think you're a little crazy. Maybe they'll have you locked up. So, nevertheless, those forces cannot be applied unless they are brought down to earth. You have to take action. And when you dream about something, when you visualize something, you will get intuitive nudges and urges to take action. You got to take the action. You got to take the action. And you'll get these nudges and urges. Maybe they'll happen once a day, twice a day, once a week. But it'll keep coming back to you. And you have to take action on these. But what we do a lot of times, we rationalize it. Wow, well, I'm not going to call Joe. He can't help me out here. See, instead of just doing what we were told to do by the subconscious, which takes its direction from the superconscious. Some people believe it's God, believe it's whatever you want to call it, higher self, divinity, universal intelligence. But this will happen. These people that have been successful, extremely successful, will tell you, well, they may not tell you because they operate on this level even if they don't understand it. But that's a whole other video too. All right, so he who lives, let me see, it's frustrating seeing your younger family and friends not too acting or taking, I lost it, damn. I'm gonna have to go over here to get the super chat here. Let me go over here because I cannot read it off my camera because I want to answer your, let me see. I want to know what happened. I want to address your comments here. Here it is right here. And I'm live. I'm going to turn the sound down. Why isn't that going down? There we go. And did my computer just die? You got to be kidding me. No, it didn't. Let me see. Give me a minute here. All right. I'm getting there. Okay, I got it. It's Daniel. It's frustrating seeing your younger family and friends not acting or taking small steps to their dreams. I know. When the steps are so clear to take, some people just won't do it. I've experienced that. But we can't help those people. The best way we can help people like that is to just do our small steps and us move toward our goals. Because sometimes what we see, and I've done this, we see potential in other people and we want to help them reach their potential. But what happens is we lose our way and we don't reach our potential and we don't see the potential in ourselves because we're so busy focusing on the potential that they're not using, they're missing out on, they're not achieving their full potential. Remember, people just reflect back to us what we are. So what I found out there when I'm trying to help someone reach their potential and I'm frustrated because they won't take the action, I need to look at myself and say, hey, what am I doing in my life? What parts of my life am I not reaching my potential because I'm not doing what I should be doing? And the brain fears failure and won't act for it. The brain fears failure and won't act for success. That's true. Your brain is made to keep you safe. Anytime you set a goal and you get these intuitive nudges to achieve something, you're going to have to step over the bridge of incidents. And under that bridge, there's a big old troll that says he's going to eat you up when you cross that bridge. So there's always fear between you and the opportunity, which moves you closer to your goal. You have to step through that fear. And I've said this before, if there's a devil, it ought to be fear and doubt because they cause more trouble than anything else. They limit more people. They destroy more dreams. Fear and doubt. You got to be willing to take risks. I failed so many times. I've been married 4 times. You could say I've had four failed marriages. Well, a lot of those years were good years. One of them wasn't even a year long, so I'll negate that one. But so did I feel like quitting after all that? Of course I did. Will I get married again? I doubt that. But I've got my family now. I've had 10 kids. One was adopted. I have my 6 kids here with me now. And for the last 12 years, the ex has been gone. She's from another country. It's been great. I mean, we've had struggles, but I look at the photo that my son gave me. It's on the wall of all of us together, and I'm telling you what, as a man, as a father, as a man who's going to leave a legacy with his family and other things that I do, books and different things, you can't put a price on that, man. I mean, I am so rich. Now, this has nothing to do with money, but a wealthy man is wealthy on the inside before he's ever wealthy on the outside. I have something that money can't buy. And many people, I can't explain it, but it's a wonderful thing. Now, that's my deal. You may get fulfillment in other areas, but that's how family has always been important to me. And raising my boys and teaching them to be men and passing on, but we're friends. Now, that doesn't mean sometimes I don't have to be their father and set them straight, but we can talk as men, and we do. We work together, we joke around, we wrestle around, we punch on each other. We have a great time. I never had that with my father. It was a different time. But for me, that is success. So my life is a great success today. Do I want more? Of course I do. I have a lot of big, lofty goals that I wouldn't even tell you because you would think I was crazy. But I've had goals in the past that people would have thought I was crazy too, but I accomplished those. I got these kids here. I won't even go into that. It's a long story, but I was told that couldn't happen either. But here they are. All right, let me see. Daniel says, your advice is worth a lot. I gain a lot through your videos. Well, Daniel, that means a lot to me because sometimes when I don't get too many views on a video, I'm thinking, is anybody listening? But I know, so when I get something like that, I know I'm at least helping one person. And I know it takes time, so I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Let me go back here to the book. Where is it at? Oh, here we are. Okay. So I was talking about you got to come down to earth. It's okay to have dreams. Dreams are great, but you got to come down to earth because you have to take action. Those dreams are to be fulfilled here on earth. So we gotta live in this material world, and we got to take action on that. But everything, as I said, comes from within you. You can do, I know you guys hear this crap all the time, but it's true. You are only limited by the limits you set upon yourself. And we're all raised limited because our parents limit us unknowingly just to keep us safe. They tell us what we can do, what we can't do. We're born without limits. We're born with only 2 fears, the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Everything else you're afraid of, you've learned. And I got other fears too. We look at everything through the filters of our past experiences and we judge the present from the past. And you can't do that. And I've done it, but you can't do it and have a successful life. You got to be willing to step into something. And even though last time this happened, it doesn't mean it's going to happen that way this time. Because every day you're a different person. At least you should be changing every day. You should be growing every day. You should be expanding. And if you're not, then you're contracting and you're probably a little depressed. You have to step out there. I wasn't going to do a video tonight. I didn't have a topic. I didn't set anything up. I've been busy this week. Thank God I'm working. Grateful for that. But I thought, who knows? Maybe I can help somebody. Because service to humanity. And my job here is to inspire and enlighten and build up humanity. And I'm glad that Daniel told me that my videos help him. I know Wade enjoys my videos. There's a couple of the other guys, Jawad. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But you guys, that's why I'm here. It's for you guys. And it makes me feel good passing this on to you. Because one time, I was about 30 years old. My life was crap. And I had a mentor. And he was an old Green Beret, big guy, taller than me. Probably could have kicked my butt. I'm trying to stop cussing. And he told me, he said, Mark, when you get big and strong like me, you're going to pass this on to other people just like I'm passing it on to you. And so I've never forgotten that. So that's why I'm here today. And like I said, I get something out of it. I feel great. It makes me feel good to help you guys. And it also reinforces in me, whatever I tell you, it reinforces in me what I need to do. So it also helped by teaching you guys, by sharing this with you guys. I don't think I'm really teaching you anything because I think you have all this knowledge in you inherently. I'm just helping you to bring it up out of yourself, to educate. The word educate means to draw from within. So I can't really educate you on anything, but I can help you bring out what you really already know. And I think you already know this stuff. We all have this inherently within ourselves. All right, it talks about dreams, but if he does not unite the forces of the superconscious with practical action, he will do nothing else but dream dreams, and those dreams will not come true. It is when we combine mental action in the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious that we get results we desire. You have to take action. If you don't take action, nothing happens. Let me see. Daniel says, I'm 30 and trying to get this knowledge to educate my son. Okay, that's a good deal. Yeah. If I had to raise my kids again, I don't know if I'd do it any differently, but I would probably teach them more. Well, here's a good one for you, Daniel. More truth is caught than taught. My kids are doing a lot of the things that I did, but I didn't tell them to do it. They just watched me through the years. Like they're boxing. They see me box. Actually, these kids never actually saw me fight. They've seen me fight in the gym, spar. They've never seen me actually fight because I quit fighting before they were born. But they pick up on the things that you do. The best way you can teach your son is, of course, you can tell him, but is to be. Be the man you want him to be. If that makes sense to you. Be the man you want him to be, because he's going to copy you. He looks up to you. He's going to model you. He's going to mimic you. Sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. One of my boys, I was trying to tell him something one day, and he's going to do his own deal. And I said, boy, man, you're bullheaded. It was Frank. And as soon as I said that, I remember, I haven't heard that for years. I haven't heard it since my parents said that to me, because I was bullheaded, stubborn. But that's not necessarily a bad trait. If you can use that strong will, you can use that strong will to control your mind. That's where your willpower comes in. Use your will to control your thinking, because if you can control your thinking, that controls your actions, and that controls your life. Your thinking controls your life because it controls your actions, your emotions. You should have complete control. And if you don't, you try to get it of your mind, because that's where the kingdom is. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and you're the king of that kingdom, of the kingdom of your mind, where your thoughts are. You have complete control over that. And if you don't, you need to try to get control over that. And that can be difficult. There's an expression, he who controls himself is greater than he who conquers a city. Or in this way, it said, he who controls his temper. Your temper is the way you think, your attitude, what is it called? Your mental state, we'll say it that way. Okay, it's just new to me, but very true. I make music. Welcome. I make music. You need to go to Thailand, Mark. Yeah, you could find a young female for yourself. I had a buddy that used to go to Thailand every year for about 2 weeks. He'd go over there getting 3 of them girls, I'll say it that way. Go shack up for about a week or 2 and then come back home. I wouldn't mind going over there. I don't really want to go all the way over there just for girls, but God, such a long flight, man. I like going down south to South America, Colombia, and the Caribbean, because it's you don't get the jet lag as bad. It's a shorter flight. That's kind of, I love the Latina girls. So I might like the Filipino girls too. I've just never been over there. Maybe someday I'll go over there. I kind of want to go to Iceland. I know there's not too many women in Iceland, but I just got a thing to go there. I don't know why. I've never been there, but for some reason I want to go there. I'm not sure what the deal is there. Okay, let me see. Let's go back to the book. Got one more message. I even retracted that. Okay. Let's go back here to the book. What do we do here? Why is this not going back? Hell, Latinas are the best. I like Latinas. They're hot. Kind of jealous. You got to take the good with the bad. I'm talking to a couple of Latinas right now from Medellin, Colombia. I might go down there. Well, I gotta catch up from the 3 or 4 months I didn't have any work, so I gotta get some stuff going there. And of course, my son wrecked my car, so I'm out of a car now. But I got my van. But I like my car. It's my mom's. She gave it to me when she passed away. But that was like the 4th time it's been wrecked. That's what happens when you got teenagers driving. That's something you got to look forward to, Daniel, when your kid gets to driving. All right, let's go back here. Superconscious, practical action. Okay, let's go on to the next. Well, what else? Okay, it is the bringing forth of being to the act of doing that produces happiness. I got this highlighted. The doing of much gives a necessary expression to the being of much, and it is the bringing forth of being through the act of doing that produces happiness that is happiness. I don't know if you understand that. We have to be before we can do. Really, when you see someone who's successful, let's say he's got lands, cars, boats, money, women, that is just a reflection of what he is on the inside, of what he is being. He had to be before he could do. And life is not so much about what you get as what you become in the process. Because all those things, none of that is going to bring you contentment, fulfillment, or happiness unless you have that on the inside first. Unless those things are a reflection of who you are. Because if you have a lot of money and you go out and buy this, travel here, pick up this girl, that leaves you feeling empty. I've done some of that. It's not, goals, I've talked about goals before. I think it's great to have goals, but if you think when you achieve that goal that you're going to be happy and fulfilled, you're not. It's the journey. It's the adversity. It's the challenges. It's the injuries that you have to overcome. It's all of that. That is what gives fulfillment to a man. And it sounds kind of trite because everybody says, oh, the joy is in the journey. It is in the journey. And the sooner you guys can realize that, the better life you're going to have. And this is one of the reasons why I think we have so much depression here in the U.S. because everything is so comfortable and so easy that you have to be the kind of man that seeks out challenge and adversity. Otherwise, you don't have any. It's where years ago, it was a challenge and you just to live. And you had adversity on a regular basis. We had bullies. You still got bullies, but I mean, that was part of life. When I was growing up, we always had the neighborhood bully. Have I bullied people? Yeah, I have. And I've been bullied. It's just the way it is. They call it the pecking order. I'm glad it happened to me. I probably never would have learned how to fight if I hadn't been bullied. I got tired of being humiliated. I'm grateful to the people who bullied me. Now, some people say I've had people attack me and hate on me for that. They think that you can, I'm telling you what, you cannot build character unless you go through adversity. Maybe you don't have to get bullied, but you're going to have to go through something. Fall out of a tree and break your leg, get in some contact sport, do something. You're not going to have character sitting around the house playing the Xbox. You're just not going to build character that way. It just doesn't happen. There's no easy way to get a six-pack. You just got to do the work. All right. Let's go on to the next one here. The use of the mind in practical. In the present age, it is the power of mind that rules the world, and therefore it is evident that he who has acquired the best use of the power of mind will realize the greatest success and reach the highest places that attainment and achievement hold in store. The man who wins is the man who can apply in practical life every part of his mental ability and who can make every action of his mind tell. We sometimes wonder why there are so many capable men and admirable women who do not reach those places in life that they seem to deserve. But the answer is simple. They do not apply the power of the mind as they should. I'm reading another book. Well, I'm listening to it right now. I think I've read it by Maxwell Maltz. What is it called? Cybernetics. And he talks about the reason most people don't succeed is because they have a low concept of themselves. Their concept of themselves keeps them from succeeding. And what is success to you? I like Earl Nightingale's definition of success. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal or ideal. So you're a success today if you're moving towards a worthy goal or ideal. If you're not a success. If I'm not moving in the direction of a worthy goal or ideal, I'm not a success today. I'll feel good when I get done with this, although I didn't want to do it. Like I said, I didn't have everything set up because it's a step in the direction of my goal to inspire, enlighten, and build up humanity. Now, had I not done it, I'll guarantee you I wouldn't have felt near as good. I had no idea what I was going to talk about. It just popped into my head here at the last minute. I thought I would share this book with you guys. It's helped me a lot. As I said, I read a lot of books. Some of them I've read and listened to over 100 times. And I recommend you do the same because it takes repetition. It has taken repetition to get you to where you are today. The way you think today is because of the input of repetitive information that's come into your brain, into your mind. And you have complete control over what you allow in there. You're constantly being programmed. At the gas pumps, now we have commercials. I like to walk away from it just so I don't have to listen to it. Everywhere. They say a person is, subjected to 5,000 different advertisements a day. Billboards, TV, radio, YouTube, whatever. Now, you don't consciously pick up on all these, but your subconscious picks up on everything that comes into your mind. Everything that comes into your mind, it doesn't miss a thing. Everything. Wherever you're sitting right now, you're listening to me, at least I hope you are. And there's other noises in the background that you're not listening to. But if you stop, you can hear them now, can't you? Your subconscious doesn't miss anything. Things out of the corner of your eye that you don't consciously pay attention to, your subconscious gets all that. Now, all of it's recorded. See, the deal is, if you were aware of all that, it would be information overload. Your conscious mind could not handle it. So you only pay attention to what's relevant in the moment, which may just be a few things, a couple of noises. My voice, maybe you have something in the background, there's a car honking the horn, something like that. You pick up on that, but there's a whole bunch of other noises going on that you're not even consciously aware of, but your subconscious never misses a thing. That's why when you misplace your keys, you know where they're at. Consciously you don't, but your subconscious knows. Try this. Next time you lose something and you're looking for it, you can't find it, you're pissed off, it's lost, right? Okay. So you ask your subconscious mind, give it a name, Luis, Bill, whatever, say maybe this. Subconscious mind to me, you know where those keys are because I put them down somewhere. So tell me where they're at. Inform me where they're at. And then just let it go. Go do something else, and I'll guarantee you'll find them. It'll pop into your head, or you'll just see them. Maybe where you looked before and you couldn't see them. We've talked about that before too. We have what we call lacunas. It's like blind spots. When you decide consciously that those keys are lost, you send a signal to your subconscious mind that they're gone. And you can look right at them and you won't see them. It's like being hypnotized. It's like this last 2 or 3 years of this, whatever it was we had, mass hypnosis. Some of you might have heard about that. Over and over and over again, the news media was saying the same thing over and over on billboards, news media, radio, everywhere. And people become hypnotized. They start to believe things, even though the evidence of their senses, they looked around, they didn't see that. But they were told that. And so many people were locked in their houses, so to speak, and the only information they got, the only input they got was what they saw behind the screen. And we all know what that message was. But yet, when you went out in the real world, which I did every day, I didn't see, it wasn't congruent with what they were saying. So, something to think about. Very important, what you allow into your mind. Let's go back here. Couple comments. Accomplish tasks and goals is happiness. Yeah. Yeah, it's moving toward the accomplishment of the task and goals is what gives man a fulfillment. Now, see, and women get into the workplace to compete against men. They don't get the same thing out of working that we get. They don't work as many hours. They just they don't get it. They don't understand. They're not going to get it. Women are more relationship orientated. I can see that in my daughter. She's always the one who wants to have a family dinner, family meetings, family get-togethers, vacations. It's just, she likes that. She was so happy when we had Christmas and everybody was here. I think she started to cry. And it was nice. I liked it too, but they just feel that's what they're made for. That's their place, if you like. Some people have said it's misogynistic. What's that other one they use? I was called this. What is that? Sexist, maybe? Something like that. It's just the way it is. They may try to be something else, but they're not. Audible. Yeah, I got Audible too. That's what I'm listening to Psycho-Cybernetics on right now. I tell you about Audible. When you listen to that, there's focused listening. That's when you sit there and you don't do anything but listen and you focus on what's being said. And I'll tell you a trick to really listening to that or anybody when they're speaking is to repeat what they say mentally, not verbally, after they say it. That's another good way to imprint it on you and listen. Now, there's something about reading that actually exercises your mind more. So that's important too. A lot of times I'll read it and I will listen to it. Now I listen to books and audio at work also. I'm self-employed, so I can do that. Very important. Now, that's not as good as just sitting here and doing nothing and listening to it. But it's better than having the radio on or listening to something else or just not listening to anything. But now when I shut it off, what I will do when I'm not listening to anything is I will think about what I'm thinking about, and I will focus my thinking on what I want in life and keep it away from what I don't want in life. Because whatever you focus on will grow in your experience. Oh, yeah, I like Audible. Daniel says, I can only imagine how kids are going to grow in the next decade. Man, I'll tell you what, glued to tablets and phones from a kid. I tell you, man, my kids even say it. I was born in 1960. Hey, what's up, Glenn? Yo, 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 Glenn. Glenn Lawrence is in the house. I grew up in the 60s, so we were out climbing trees. I used to play in the creek, build dams with the sand, the rocks in the creek, and I was hunting in the woods at 10 years old or younger with a single-shot .22. That bullet was so slow that if I held it like this, I could see the bullet go out. And shot up in the sky, I could see the bullet go out. But yeah, I killed some squirrels with it anyway. But kids now, it's like, yeah, they're living their life behind the screen. And think about how easy it is for the powers that be to program these kids. That's something to think about too. So you really need to be careful what you let your small kids, how much time you let them spend on it. I let my kids spend time on them, probably more than I should. Yeah, so very important. Let's move on here. Where was I? Back to the book here. They don't apply their abilities and qualities or either insurrects or apply in part. These people should not permit. Where is my? I thought I had more highlighted. Here we go on to talk about the I am. Anything you say after I am, even if you say I am tired, you're programming yourself to be tired. I am sleepy, I am lazy. I don't even like saying that stuff. Never say anything about yourself you don't want to be true. Just think about how many things you say during the day after I am. You're programming yourself to be that. Subtly, continuously, and eventually you become that. And when you make a mistake, do you call yourself stupid? Don't do that. Man, I just cringe when I hear somebody. I've done that. I've done it a couple times, like after I broke up with a girl and I felt like I didn't know how to have a relationship. So I'm like, I'm feeling really dumb, and I'm like, yeah. So, and that's the worst time you can do it because you're so emotional. Whenever you say these affirmations or say anything and you're really in a high emotional state, it really imprints on your subconscious mind. How do you think they brainwash people? They get them in different emotional states, and they tell them the same thing over and over and over again. Somewhat like they did in the last 3 years with the news and the media. They got people in an emotional state of fear, and they told them the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. And how many people believed it? And as soon as they come out with I don't want to get off on this because I get off on this. As soon as they come out with the solution to the fear, people were running to get it. 65%, I think they said, didn't care that it wasn't, how do I say, that it was still experimental, and whether it worked or not, they were going to try it, or they were going to take it. So think about that. Yeah, don't self-deprecate. That's right, Daniel. They are doing with Andrew Tate, claiming it's true. Yeah, Andrew Tate. Man, I tell you what. I wonder if they're not going to keep him for 180 days just to try to teach him a lesson. I would think, they've been investigating since April. I would think that if they had enough to convict him, they would have went ahead and filed charges. I seen a video today that said he might get out. I don't know. People just put stuff up to get people to watch. I don't put anything out there that I don't actually believe is true. But some people just want to get views, so I don't know. But man, it's got to be tough for him. His life was good, but I'll tell you what, he'll come out of that a better man. Nelson Mandela was in jail for what, 27 years? Then he became president of the country. And I know some people are like, how can you compare him to Nelson Mandela or Jesus or Gandhi? All those people at a certain time were thought to be criminals by a lot of the general population, just like Andrew. Gandhi, he was a criminal of the, he was a, how would I say, he was a criminal against, in Britain. He was put in jail several times. Jesus, he was crucified, and a lot of people wanted him crucified. He was a how is that, what is the word? He was breaking the laws of the land, of the government. Who's the other one? William Wallace, the Braveheart movie guy. There's another one. I mean, there's a lot of them throughout history who were considered criminals and crucified, killed. Some of the apostles were crucified upside down. They were considered criminals. And it wasn't just the government that considered them criminals. A lot of the people did too. And what do we got going on here? It's the same thing. The great powers do not want people that teach other people that they have power within themselves to accomplish things in their life, and they don't have to follow the agenda of the elite. And I have nothing against people with money. I'm not talking about that. Most people who have a lot of money do a lot of good with it. Okay, now, so I'm not bad-mouthing people who are considered to be rich. If you live in the Western world, you're considered rich. You probably don't feel like you are, maybe, but you are. Let me see. Let's go on here. The power of the mind includes the power of the will, the power of desire, the power of feeling, and the power of thought. It includes conscious action in all its phases and subconscious action in all its phases. In fact, it includes anything and everything that is placed in action through the mind, by the mind, or in the mind. Your willpower is used to control your mind. If you have a strong will, if you're stubborn, if you're not a follower, if you're not a complier, use that will to control your mind. Because if you can control your thinking, as I said, you will control your life. Because every action you take comes from a thought. And whenever you combine imagination with emotion and thinking, it's a powerful force. Now, it doesn't happen overnight usually. I mean, I have heard there are people that can create things in a moment. Maybe it's true. I think it's possible. I don't know anybody who can do that. I can't do it. But I'll guarantee you, in my life, I have brought things into my life through the power of my imagination. But I also said, remember, I took action when I had intuitive nudges to do something. I never thought I'd be doing a podcast or a YouTube channel 4 or 5 years ago, but it came through a set of circumstances that were very painful, actually. I wrote the book. That came from going through a relationship breakup, and I was inspired to write the book, maybe help other people. People will tell you through your life what you're good at. For the last 10 years before I wrote that book, people would tell me, man, your life ought to be a movie. You should write a book, etc., etc. And eventually I did. So people around you will give you hints at what direction you're supposed to be going or what you should be doing. They will see things in you that you can't see in yourself. Excuse me. So if you're having trouble finding your purpose, a lot of times people reveal that to you. Now, there's going to be some people that try to drag you back down, but you want to get away from those type of people. And sometimes that's your family, and sometimes it's your friends. So be careful about who you hang around with, because you do become part of what you are around. All right, what time is it? It is 7:05. I got a meeting to go to. Hey, thanks for coming, you guys. I really enjoyed talking to you. Appreciate you here. We'll be back next weekend. I may try to set something up. I was supposed to be on Kings and Dreams Wednesday night, but he had a family emergency, so we canceled. But I think we're going to be on Kings and Dreams Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard, this coming Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we'll see what happens. Let me check this, and then I'm going to get off here. I'll check my messages. Yeah, they're doing the Tates, I think. Okay, I'll see you guys. Take care. Thanks again for joining me. Have a great day.